Hello, I'm back. This time around, I'm back with some Scum gameplay. It's something that I've been looking forward to quite some time, and it's finally here. Now, first and foremost, I wanted to take my time, try out the game, experience the PvP. There's also a single player to it as well. I wanted to see how the performance goes, what kind of content you have in the game, how many bugs you have in the game, because obviously this is an early access, so it's an alpha, so you will have bugs. It's not a matter of will you have bugs, it's a matter how many and how bad. It's always been the same. But to my good surprise, not really that bad. It's definitely playable. If you want to pick up the game, it's $19.99 on Steam. I think it's like $16.74 or something like that, euros I paid for it. So it's really cheap to buy. Expect lots of problems. It is an alpha game, so you will see loads of that. Although I'm quite surprised there's not been that many. I've had the occasional sort of stuff when you're trying to zoom in with something and you're trying to put a scope on something and it doesn't actually work and you have to just log out and log back in. Unfortunately, at this stage of the game, there is no sort of saving your stuff, as it were. There is a way for you to make a sort of box and you can hide a couple of items, but the box doesn't persist in the world and it just disappeared. I tried to put a couple of items in there. I didn't really want to put much because I was expecting that to actually go away, and to my good surprise, it did. There is the weapon mechanics sort of work. It's not bad at all as it is so far, so definitely lots of sort of exciting things that could probably happen in the future. There's a couple of other things I wanted to test out. I wanted to test out the food. I wanted to test out the mechanics of them sort of adding in the need to pee and take a poo-poo and all that sort of stuff. If you need to take a poop and you need to take a poo, it's gonna go. Like when you're throwing up, same thing. It will just throw up and you'll stop doing whatever you're doing. So if that's you running from a mech, running from players, running from zombies, whatever the case may be, he will stop and do his business. So that's something that you need to keep an eye on. Oh, that was beautiful, that shot. I'll just pause for that. So if something like that does happen, just keep that in mind before you go into a town and trying to loot and trying to get some supplies, or you're trying to get a couple of kills in the PvP. Do your business next to some bushes first and then go into town, because you will be caught red-handed, as it were, with your pants down at some point, one way or the other. Now, as for the game, like I said, performance is not bad at all. I'm sort of running 54, 55, 56, sort of 60 frame-ish most of the time, so I've been pretty surprised to see the performance is fairly decent, so you're not going to struggle with that. I heard a couple of reports, people saying that the performance is going to be fairly bad in the first day, but they did get a couple of patches out in the last 24 hours, so that's kind of cool. There's still a couple of things that they need to sort of address, but again, that's going to happen later down the line. There is loot for you to go around and loot. I mean, there's not going to be as plentiful. There was streamer loot available a couple of days ago when the game was being tested, and there was loot everywhere. And yes, don't ask what's happening with all that meat there. I'll just keep that to myself. There was probably a nerf on the loot, because there isn't really that much loot around, but that's kind of cool, because the whole point is to go and survive. It's not for you to go in, get a gun, and it's not a battle royale game. It's a survival game where your decisions and choices and actions do take effect, and they will affect you in one way or the other. So I'm kind of enjoying that there's not that much out there. You need to focus a lot on your metabolism, you need to focus a lot on your skills, you need to focus a lot on what you want your operator character, whatever you want to call it, to be. Do you want it to punch harder, faster? Do you want it to run, sprint faster? There is so many other choices for you to choose from, that's going to be down to your individual self, whatever you prefer. I mean, I kind of went for a medium. I went for, I think it's 29, 30-year-old with all sorts of basic to medium stats on it. Now, I'm not really sure if those stats will evolve in time. If I keep eating, keep drinking, keep running, keep sort of fighting, will I actually gain something from it? We'll just have to wait and see how and where the game progresses. Now, on the PvP side of things, there is a bit of sort of server-side lag or desync or whatever you want to call it. Whenever you're trying to sort of engage somebody, he kind of skips around a little bit, so I'm going to be waiting for another couple of days just for them to get another patch or two out. But it's definitely going to be pretty fun. Like I said, there is no sort of bases yet in the world. I was kind of hoping to see at least some tents or some other things like that, because your load screen does have a tent in there, so you could potentially camp it out somewhere out in the woods, find a nice little cabin or something, put a tent down, get a couple of things in it, just like sort of we had back in the old DayZ days when we didn't have bases, but you could still you can still store a few items and they'll not go away if you load in and you load out of the server. Same thing goes with your points, your fame points. If you want to spawn on your teammates or you want to spawn somewhere, then you need those fame points, so you get those by killing zombies and doing all sorts of good stuff. Just remember that if you do have to log out for some reason, one way or the other, you will lose those points and you have to gather them all over again. Now that I've gotten some loot out of this location, it's time for me to find a base. It's time for me to find a house to call my own, and that will be used as my FOB, my forward operating base. That's going to be where the loot is going to be gathered. I'm hoping that they're going to have some sort of storage in the game pretty soon. For now, I can carry as much stuff as I can with me. I know there is a bigger backpack in the game, which I'm trying to locate, but no luck yet. It's only a matter of time before I find it. But for now, I need a fresh water source. I need some game, because eating and drinking, it's a big part of the game. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the video. I will see you in day 2.